Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Roadmap to Financial Independence podcast, where like minded people gather in their journey to exit the rat race and join the FIRE community. If joining the financially independent, retire early, or FIRE community seems like only a dream to you, this podcast will help you develop your roadmap to financial independence. I am Scott, and I'm joined by my wife and co host, Michelle.
Hello and welcome. We are honored that you are joining us and excited to show you there is a different road you can take to a life of financial independence. In today's podcast, we'd like to introduce you to a different way of thinking about the items you purchase. You need to stop thinking about things in dollars. Every decision we make is in some way tied to money and our time. All of us have been trained to think of a purchase in dollars since all items we purchase has a price tag in dollars. The problem with that is it does not reflect the amount of time in the form of your labor that you must exchange for the money to make that purchase. We at the Roadmap to Financial Independence would like you to change the way you think about the items you purchase. Instead of thinking in dollars, think rather in time. How much time will you have to go to a job you don't like? How much time will you have to spend away from your family and friends? And how much time will you have to spend not doing something you truly love to buy those things?
How would you react if you walked into your neighborhood electronics store and the prices were reflected in hours? The new HD TV you want is not $999, but rather 90.8 hours of your time. Or that new fancy bedroom set, rather than being $4,000, was priced at 363.3 hours of your time. Would that change your spending habits if you knew that you would have 363 less hours to spend with your kids, or 363 hours less to spend doing something you truly love? Let's say, for example, that you are looking to replace your 8-year-old car with a new one. Although your existing car is dependable and meets your needs, societal pressure makes you feel like you need to purchase this new car to keep up with the Joneses. After trade-in, sales tax and license fees, let's say your new car will cost $25,000. Let's also assume that you make $20 per hour. Unfortunately, just because you make $20 per hour does not mean you bring home $20 for each hour you work. Taxes must be taken out. In this example, let's assume your total tax liability is 25%. This means that after taxes are taken out, you will bring home $15 for every hour you work. But we are not done yet. Most people have health coverage, 401k contributions, and other deductions subtracted from your paychecks. For this example, let's assume that leaves you with $11 that is actually yours.
If you take the purchase price of $25,000 and divide it by $11 per hour, you will have to work 2,272 hours to buy that new car. If you consider a full-time job, you typically work 2,080 hours per year. You will have to spend nearly 12 months of your life exchanging your time and labor for money to purchase that car. You also need to consider the time it takes you to get ready for work, drive to work, the cost of operating your car, and the cost of work clothes. The number of hours you need to spend is closer to 2,500 hours of your life to acquire a car. If you further consider that car will only last you about 10 years or so, is that really how you want to spend nearly 2,500 hours of your life? It is important to realize that time is so much more valuable than money. Time is precious and priceless. Once time passes you by, it is gone forever. You will never be able to get it back. Over the years, I have known so many people who have missed their kids' birthday parties, dance recitals, or other special moments in their children's lives because they were exchanging their precious time for money. Years later, after being laid off from a job that they spent countless hours working overtime to get that next promotion, they deeply regretted missing out on the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as their children are young only once. They grow up so fast. Before you know it, they are going off to college or on their own to live and work somewhere else. They often regret spending the time away from their families to drive a fancy new car or allowing lifestyle creep to continually increase their monthly spending. They are simply focused on the dollars that items cost rather than on the time it took to earn that money. Too often, marketers and society tell us that we need material things to make us happy. Nothing could be further from the truth. Research has shown that people who become more materialistic experience less happiness and a reduction in their well being. The opposite is true for those who move away from the materialism and focus their time on what makes them happy.
When I really started to think about time versus money, I found that I spent a great deal more time looking at my bank account and with little thought about my time. It was only after I started losing my aunts and uncles to old age that it truly dawned upon me that I can use my time to make money, but I cannot use money to buy time. Yes, I can hire people to do work for you, freeing up your time, but your time on this earth is fixed and limited. You still need to exchange some of your time to earn the money to pay them. It is important to understand that we are not saying you should never purchase items. We all need a place to live, furnishings, and food. But rather, before you spend, simply ask yourself if the item you're about to purchase is truly worth the time it will take you to earn the money. Ask yourself, what else can I do with that time? Is my time more important to me to do the things I love than the item I'm about to purchase? If it is, you and your family will place value on it. Several years ago, my wife and I purchased a new and quite large RV. In this case, we were willing to exchange a large amount of our time to earn the money to purchase it because it was something we value and would allow us to live a lifestyle we choose to live for many years to come. Here, we made a well-informed decision, paid cash, and placed value on what the RV allows us to do: travel and spend time together in some amazing places.
So, what can you do? First, simplify your lifestyle and make conscious decisions about your time. You may quickly find that you do not need the income that you think you do. By living a simpler lifestyle, you may find that you become happier and find new opportunities, which are more suited to your new lifestyle. Second, do not let lifestyle creep continually drive up your living expenses. If you've not listened to episode 1 on contentment, I would recommend you take a few minutes to listen to it. Keeping up with the Joneses will only make others rich while depriving you of a life that you choose to live. Third, do not let societal pressure from friends and family drive you to spend. At the end of your life, no one will care if you had the latest designer fashions or what car you drove. For me, I can only remember a few gifts that my parents gave to me over the years. What I do remember is the time with my father and mother playing catch in the backyard, or the time we spent talking about what was going on in my life and spending time together. I remember every trip we went on, not so much what the hotel we spent our nights at, but rather sharing experiences together. Those are the things I truly cherish that will be with me for the rest of my life. This holds true for all the people I have lost. I do not remember the material things, but rather the time we spent together.
Fourth, live the life you want. Through our podcast, I will often talk about my 2003 Toyota Matrix. Today, my car is 15 years old and has nearly 250,000 miles on it. It is easily the oldest car in my neighborhood, but I don't care. While my neighbors are working long hours to drive new cars, I am quietly investing and building our net worth. Although most of my neighbors look rich or have apparent wealth, we have actual wealth. While they must go to jobs they may not like, we are free to live the lifestyle we choose. In episode 2, we talked more about apparent wealth versus actual wealth. I'd recommend if you haven't listened to episode 2, you do so. The choice is up to you. You are in control of your life. Don't let others dictate your future. Start looking at purchases in hours away from your family, your friends, or activities that truly bring you joy, and not in dollars. Remember, knowledge maps the road to financial independence. Thanks for listening.